Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another video. In this video, we're talking about the new DMR, which is stirring up much controversy in the Battlefield community because it is, well, it's just overpowered. I'm just not even gonna beat around the bush. We have a friend for this video. I will call him Fred. I don't know why Fred is here. I don't know how Fred got here, but he's here. So leave a like and subscribe for Fred. However, we will be ignoring him. So, the big thing with this DMR is, and watch the crosshair, ladies and gentlemen, watch. That's right, it's full fucking auto. So, we're looking at a DMR with standard issue extended, with an RPM of 280, that's full auto, no recoil, and it two-shots you in the chest through armor and full HP out to 40 meters. And if you are so inclined, and you want to two-shot people out to an even farther distance, you can slap on high-power ammo and two-shot people out to 50 meters. However, that will lower your fire rate to a measly 250, which is still very fast. The TTK with this gun, as you can see, I'll zoom into it, is 200.44544 milliseconds if you two-shot them. And that TTK will be slightly longer if you use high power, but still blisteringly fast. This gun has, I mean, literally no spread. I mean, it's hilarious how little spread this gun has. No recoil. The setup that I'm going to walk you through with this gun, I'm using factory barrel. This gun is so good that I don't think you have to use really any barrel attachments. They ruin suppressors. I don't think it needs a compensator. I don't think it needs to be more accurate. So I just don't do anything to it. I just use factory barrel. I think that's the best choice. Sight is always personal preference. I would say that standard issue extended is probably your best bet most of the time. High power for longer ranges. And then for your attachment, use MGL laser sight, as that reduces recoil even more. And make sure you fill out your attachments here. Smoke grenade launcher, I think it gives you a grenade launcher as well at some point, because of course DMRs need grenade launchers. Generally, this gun feels terrible to fight against. It is a real problem to deal with. And I'm going to jump over to some gameplay and we'll talk more about it. So as you saw in me showing you the attachments and the TTK of this weapon, it is clearly, in my opinion, overpowered, but I think the strongest aspect of the G428 is something that people don't talk about that much, and it's the fact that it's extremely easy to use, because all of these DMRs are, of course, semi-automatic. The G428 is full auto. That ease of use can make a weapon so much stronger for people, because it removes the difficulty of having to time your shots without it being full auto. This is something that people struggled with in Battlefield 1, if you remember. A lot of people preferred the 1907 Sweeper variant, which was the full auto variant of that weapon, even though technically you could achieve the exact same RPM with greater accuracy if you use the 1907 factory. So the fact that this DMR is full auto is absolutely nothing to sneeze at, and it just catapults it up the ease of use chain for weapons tremendously. Then you have to consider the fact that the gun doesn't have any damn recoil, like literally none. It's crazy how little recoil this thing has for how hard it hits, especially when you compare it to weapons like the SVD or the M39 EMR. The M39 and the SVD technically have 20 more RPM and the same damage model, so I guess they kill technically faster. But are you going to be able to land those shots with the M39 EMR and the SVD as easy as you will be able to with the G428? The answer is probably no. I generally think that when it comes to DMR weapon balance, even in the past two Battlefield games, stretching back to Battlefield 5, DICE has really sort of lost their way with those weapon types, and they are just incredibly strong. If you look back to, let's say, Battlefield 1, and you look at the RSC 1917, that weapon shot at sub 200 RPM, and people considered that weapon to be overpowered back then. Now you have DMRs that are almost double the RSC's maximum fire rate, and reach out to a farther distance with more damage. And from one perspective, I can understand why they did that. Every other weapon is generally more effective at way longer distances than the traditional Battlefield games. But at the same time, you just have to sort of sit here and question, well, okay, is this just incredibly poorly done at a certain point? Because just a few months ago, and there's a TikTok that I have with like 400,000 views or something, I killed a guy hitting every single bullet with an RM68 standing from 140 meters. That's an AR, it's not even a DMR. Now, after the nerf to the RM68 and the general blanket spread changes to every single weapon in the game, you can't do that anymore. Now, I bring up the spread changes because this thing doesn't appear to have much spread at all, if any. Like, you can just full auto an entire magazine and you're probably going to hit what you want to kill. I think if you insist upon having this incredibly overpowered DMR in the game, you should probably make spread matter on it, because let's not make any mistakes, it's not as strong as, let's say, the release BSVM, which could headshot, body shot you out to 150 meters. But for this gun to be this accurate after the spread changes, with no accuracy attachments on it, that's a problem. So what would I do in order to nerf this weapon and reel its effectiveness in a little bit? First of all, I would definitely nerf its spread. I would make spread actually matter on it. And then I think you have to take a look at the magazine attachments for this weapon. The standard issue extended magazine takes the fire rate up to 280 RPM. I think generally the RPM of these DMRs are a big problem. Now, obviously, the maximum damage and the damage ranges and drop-offs, those can be tweaked as well, but the RPM of these DMRs are crazy. You're talking 300 RPM on the M39, 280 RPM on the G428, 300 RPM on, I think, the SVD, and all of these weapons carry 200 millisecond TTK out to crazy ranges. So I think a RPM nerf would also definitely be of great use, but then you have to be very careful with that, because then you have to consider, okay, well, what are the ARs? What are the ARs TTKs at these ranges? So it's just one of those delicate things, right? Battlefield 2042 definitely did not make it easy for them to balance these weapons because of the nature of the gunplay and the nature of the maps and the needed ability for these weapons to reach out to great distances because the maps are gigantic. So certainly an interesting problem. If you enjoyed the video and the slight insight into my thoughts about the balance and stuff, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Definitely get your hands on the G428 before it is nerfed, because this gun is absolutely disgusting. And I'm going to see you guys later. Multi-stream now? Bullshit. Boom! Boom! You explode!